Alright, so like many of you guys, I've been playing a little bit too much of Among Us lately. And well, if you know me from around YouTube, or maybe you're a viewer of the channel, well, you probably know I make a lot of theories on this game called Roblox Piggy. And well, since I love looking at games and trying to find out the story and hidden meaning behind everything, I was like, what if Among Us actually had a story with characters? You know, I've been playing this game, everybody's been playing this game, literally everybody and their grandma. It's one of the most popular games in the world right now, and I was like, nobody's talking about the story. Yeah, there's a bunch of colorful little astronauts running around a spacecraft getting chased by an evil alien that looks exactly like them, but is there actually more to the story than that? Oh yes, there is. Among Us actually does have a bunch of hidden story pieces hidden around everywhere, hidden around all the maps, all the locations, even the characters. So that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. I'm going to be explaining to you guys the hidden story of the Among Us storyline. Literally, it's crazy. I also want to say real quick before we get started that if you're new to the channel and you haven't yet subscribed, I actually found out the secret, all right? The secret to getting the imposter every single game. All you got to do is subscribe. Just hit that red button and literally every game, you'll be the imposter. Dude, it works, trust me. For legal reasons, that may be a joke. All right, so to start off, to understand the Among Us storyline, there's a few things we need to tackle first, all right? And that's the maps and some of the more specific locations. So first off, we have the Skeld. This is the first map in the game. It's pretty much the map that everybody plays because nobody ever bothers changing the map. And this is just the spacecraft. I'm sure you guys know which one it is. And this was the first map introduced into the game. It's the spacecraft, all right, that everybody travels on. The next map, or the second map introduced, is Mira HQ, M-I-R-A-H-Q. I think it's pronounced Mira. And this actually isn't a spacecraft. This is just a giant city base that is floating in the sky, kind of like a space agency. We'll get more into that in a minute. And then the third and final map that's out right now is Polis, and this is an alien world. I mean, you can probably tell from the ground. I mean, it's purple. It's an alien planet. And then the other thing you need to take note of is actually Henry Stickmin. I'm sure you guys have heard of this game. It's actually pretty big on YouTube right now. Everybody's playing through it. Pretty awesome game, and it actually takes place in the same universe as this game. So everything that happened in Henry Stickmin is actually relevant to this game. Kind of like how Iron Man and Spider-Man exist within the same universe. Kind of the same thing here. So to begin with, let's get some of the basics down with. Okay, so the, I guess, canon version of the story is that there are 10 astronauts on each one of these maps, and for story purposes, every astronaut has a different color. I guess they just like very colorful space suits or something. And then for some odd reason, we'll get more into this here in a minute, there are a bunch of aliens, 1, 2, or 3, depending on your settings, that are inside of this group that are imposters, and they look exactly like the other astronauts, except, well, they're not. They're actually aliens. They're shape-shifting aliens. And we actually know they're aliens because one of the animations, well, the imposter, literally his body opens up and it's a giant mouth with spiky teeth, and then a spiky tongue comes out and sticks another guy through the face. He's definitely an alien. They're aliens. Another few tidbits about imposters that a lot of people actually haven't realized is, one, they don't actually breathe oxygen. Another reason why they're aliens. If the spacecraft or any of the maps, if the oxygen depletes, the imposter actually wins, meaning that everyone else, you know, well, dies and the imposter actually survives. So the imposter is an alien that doesn't have to breathe oxygen. What they breathe, I have no idea. Maybe they don't have to breathe at all. I don't know. They're aliens. And another interesting tidbit is the imposter can't actually do the task in the first map, the med bay, where you actually scan yourself. Actually, it's in the third map as well, now that I think about it. But anyway, the task where you scan yourself in medbay, the imposter cannot do, or does not do, because he has a different anatomy than everyone else, and if he does it, everyone's gonna know that he's an alien. So that's why you can't do the task, because you don't want anyone to actually find out that you're an alien. Last little tidbit about imposters, and then we'll move on with the story, is they have night vision, because whenever the lights go out, they can see perfectly. So I guess they're like bats. Do bats have night vision? Whatever animal has night vision. They can see in the dark. They're aliens. Anyway, let's talk about the maps. So the first map we need to talk about is Mira HQ. This is the second map. This is the, not space station. I guess it's kind of like a space station. It's not really in space, but it's not on the ground either. It's kind of like in the atmosphere. You can see the clouds, and of course, when you get thrown off, you fall down, you know, into, well, darkness, because you fall through the clouds. And well, Mira HQ is, well, the headquarters of the Mira Corporation, which is some sort of space organization that is mining planets, sending astronauts out into space to colonize different planets, you know, mine them, drill into them, collect minerals and samples from them, and then it's taken back here for you to study. And if you haven't gathered by now, the Mirror Corporation is what all the astronauts work for, so they are your boss. Now, other than that, we don't really know too much about the Mirror Corporation. We do know that the second map actually takes place last. Like, it takes place last in the story, even though it's the second map in the game. And the reason we know that is because there's actually a task on the map where you process all the data that you upload from the first and third map. So that means that it has to take place after those maps. So it's the last thing that happens so far in the storyline. Now, the Scald is the name of the spacecraft. This is the spacecraft that all the astronauts travel on to go to different planets, collect resources. It's basically their car. And there's not really too much to be said about this map. I mean, it's a giant spacecraft that takes astronauts to different planets. Now, for the third map in the game, the Polis map, this is the alien world that, well, I guess the only alien world that's currently in the game. And this is where the astronauts are going to collect minerals, collect samples, collect crystals, and different artifacts they can take back to the HQ to study. Now, the Polis world is actually, again, owned by the Mirror Corporation. They seem to just be some giant space entity that can buy planets, because apparently you can buy planets in this universe. And we know they own the planet because there's a bunch of signs that say Mirror HQ, and some of the tasks you upload the data, like I said, directly back to the headquarters. Now, there's not really too much to say about this map either. I'll put up some pictures of the official skins that the astronauts wear on this map. You can see it's kind of a cold map here, despite there being lava. Obviously, they're wearing like really, you know, thick jackets. So even though there's like lava everywhere, it's pretty cold on this map apparently. So if you haven't gathered so far, basically Mirror HQ is the headquarters that all the astronauts are staying at, and then they're going on the spacecraft, the Scald, and then they're going to different planets. One of the planets is the Polis planet, and then they're gathering the minerals, taking the drop ship back off the planet, back onto the spacecraft, and then back to Mirror HQ. Now, a fun little tidbit, and the reason why we know that the Henry Stickmin universe and the, you know, the Among Us universe is actually intertwined and interconnected is because there's actually a character inside of Henry Stickmin. You can play the game and actually get this character. He's named Polis Petrovich, and I'll put a picture up on screen, but it says he won a sweepstakes and got to name a planet after himself. This is from the wall map in the Henry Stickmin game, and it's Polis, so that's why it's named Polis, because I guess this guy won a sweepstakes and he got to name it after himself. So there you go. Henry Stickmin exists in the Among Us universe, confirmed. Now, as for the imposters, though, obviously they're aliens. Let's talk a little bit more about them now. And this is kind of where we get into the more theory territory, but it would make sense that these imposters are aliens that have been, I guess, disturbed by our presence on alien planets. The Mirror Corporation gathered a bunch of astronauts. They sent us out to different alien planets to observe, you know, I don't know, like steal minerals, take crystals. You guys know the drill. You've done the task over and over again. And well, I guess the alien inhabitants of these planets, they don't like you very much. And well, apparently they can also shapeshift. So they shapeshift into, well, beings that look exactly like us, you know, really bright colored astronauts. And then their mission is to infiltrate and destroy, take us out. They've done that on the Polis map. They've done that on the Mirror HQ map. They've done it on the Scald. And I guess they've infiltrated the entire space organization now, which is, I guess that's pretty bad, I'd say. Now, as for right now, that's where the story ends, but they are adding a new map. The developers of the game, they are adding a new map, and it is actually going to be based on Henry Stickmin, a location in Henry Stickmin, meaning that we are going to be going back to Earth, or at least in space, because I guess some of Henry Stickmin takes place in space, but we're going to be going back to Earth to a spot in Henry Stickmin, and that's where the next map is going to take place. So yeah, Among Us, it actually does have a storyline. I mean, not a big one, but I guess it does have a storyline, and it's interconnected to Henry Stickmin, so I guess that makes it part of the Henry Stickmin universe. So that's pretty cool. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, though. Just something a little bit different. I thought you guys might enjoy it, being that everyone and their grandma is playing Among Us now. Again, though, if you haven't yet subscribed, go ahead, subscribe, hit that red button underneath the video. It's simply the only way to be the imposter. Like, it's just, it's the only way. Hope you guys have a great day, though. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!